So in this segment, we're going to talk about the evolution of mixing.
When I first started, I was using paper primarily from my office. But then I got to thinking,
without some external source of paper, how much does the average household produce in a month? So I started keeping track of just exactly how much junk meant. Diet soda containers and styrofoam meat trays,
egg cartons, and all sorts of other paper products that I hadn't really realized were coming into my home each month.
We bought a very inexpensive paper shredder and started diverting all of that stuff away from the trash where it had been going. The results were kind of surprising. It's not scientific data, but we found we had enough to make 15 bricks each month. And I think that's actually a little low because we don't subscribe to any periodicals or newspapers. And if we'd have tried a little harder, there's way more stuff we could have recycled. So it made me start to wonder, whether you live in the city or in rural America, how much exactly could the average family generate? Let's say you average between 15 and 20 bricks a month. That's a couple hundred bricks a year.
In a couple of years, that's enough to build a small shed, or maybe even a greenhouse, which is exactly what Mike and Molly did, along with a few other interesting items, including a 20-foot yurt to use as a guest bedroom, all of which inspired me to think bigger. But some quick math told me that my current methods just would not scale.
The hand mixer took approximately 5 minutes to do a half a bucket. So depending on the material I was pulping up and how many breaks I took, I averaged about 25 minutes for the necessary 2 buckets. The rest of my time was spent mixing in the cement and the dirt and pouring it into the forms. On average, 2 6-inch by 8-inch by 20-inch bricks was taking me 45 minutes. That meant that half my time was spent in pulping the paper.
Or, to say it another way, more than 50% of my investment in any kind of a structure was going to be my time in pulping the paper. The solution to this problem turned out to be a mini toe mixer. The first toe mixer I ever saw was in a YouTube video by Martin Adams from MakePapercrete.com. Later I saw another one from MikeandMollysHouse.com. These are the people that made the yurt. Mike was kind enough to do some simple drawings on his website about how it works. By moving the direction of the differential 90 degrees so it points straight up, you can attach a lawnmower blade. And then when the wheels go around, it acts like a giant mixer. Martin's video demonstrates how simple it is to add water, cement, and your paper, then let the force of the whirling lawnmower blade turn everything into pulp. Martin even designed a special downspout on the back of his so he can just drive over his gang molds and fill them up. Martin is careful to give credit to the person who originally came up with this bright idea.
His name is Mike McCain.
Mike has been making papercrete structures, note he calls them fibrous cement, for more than a decade, and this little contraption's been helping him do it. Mr. Adams actually visited Mike and saw firsthand how thermally efficient his structures are. My dilemma was that I wasn't quite willing to sink that kind of cash into a hobby that didn't really have a clear purpose yet. That all changed this summer when I found this inner lining for a wishing well water feature on FreeCycle. It was only half the size of the other 2 toe mixers, but the price was right. It was free. I spent another couple of weeks trying to figure out how exactly to go about making the trailer. I had taken some basic welding classes in high school, so I knew I could do it. But going to the salvage yard to find the differential and then renting the welding equipment because I don't have my own just seemed like too big of a pain in the neck. And then, by happy coincidence, I found myself in rural America on the 4th of July. And like thousands of other towns across America that day, they were having a parade. And one of the entries was from these guys. They're a family of brothers that do demolition derby professionally. And it occurred to me that these people have both the skills and the resources to do this project. So after the parade, I went down to their house and used the stick to draw a rough sketch of Mike's illustration from his website in the gravel of their driveway. 2 weeks later, this showed up in my driveway. Quite frankly, I was impressed. Not bad for blueprints drawn in gravel. They used 3-inch angle iron to construct the frame, then set that on a couple of pieces of 4-inch tubing which they welded to the axle. With all the hard stuff taken care of, the only thing I had to do was put the rest of it together,
which is covered in detail in the next section of videos.